Hi friends, it's week 3 of our Halloween series, and this week we have Halloween cookie pops, but not just regular Halloween cookie pops. These are Halloween teddy bear cookie pops. Inspired by some really cool cookie pop creations from Beauty and the Sweets, I decided to give this a try for a little twist on the usual Halloween cookie pops I like to make. To make these, we're starting with 2 full-size Oreos. We're going to pop the tops off of these and set them to the side for just a sec. Then we're going to put a treat stick. I'm using a 6-inch treat stick here. We're going to place it on our cream and kind of press it into the cream a little bit, making sure that our cookies are right next to each other. And then we're going to add a little bit of melts here. I'm using chocolate to make sure that we seal everything together and that the cookies will actually stay on the stick. After adding a little bit of melts to each cookie, then we're going to pop the top of our cookies back on. And next we're going to take some mini Oreos. We've separated the cookies from the cream, and we're going to dip them into a little tiny bit of melts and then stick them in between our cookies in a few different places so that they're going to stay. We're going to have it towards the top of our top cookie, which is going to be the ears. And then we're going to do the same thing with 4 pieces around our bottom cookie, and these are going to be the arms and the legs. Finally, we're adding a little bit more melts to the bottom of the top cookie, and then we're going to put another single Oreo on top of that. We pop this into the fridge to chill for a while to make sure everything is really nice and solid before we're going to dip. When we're ready to dip, I personally like to do 2 different coats. I like to have one that I call the crumb coat, where any kind of crumbs that might come off can get into that one, and I typically love to do that with chocolate, and then I'll have the final coating. That's what we're doing here. So first we're going to do our full coat in our chocolate melts, just making sure everything gets nice and coated, and we can tap the stick on the side of the bowl to make sure that the excess falls back down and everything kind of smooths out. Then we pop that back on a piece of parchment paper and put that back in the fridge to chill for a little while, just to make sure, again, everything is nice and set and solid, but it also hopefully will be cool enough to make sure that the melts don't melt too quickly when we're coating it in the warmer melts for the final coating. And of course, now we're going to do that final coating. Here I'm using a bowl of white melts, completely getting everything nice and coated just like we did before, and of course tapping the stick on the side to make sure that the excess melts fall back into the bowl and everything smooths out. Once again, we place that back on the piece of parchment paper to let it completely set, and finally we're going to take a piping bag filled with those same white melting wafers and do a generous amount of drizzling all over the top of the cookie. We're going to briefly pause, add a couple of eyeball sprinkles, and then finish with some more drizzling to complete our mummy teddy bear cookie pop. What do you think of this really fun Halloween cookie pop? Make sure to let me know in the comments, and of course stay tuned for the rest of our Halloween cookie pop week.